The idea of having a vasectomy as a young man is very interesting. I've mentioned on this channel before that when I grew up, I was always of the impression that I was going to get married and have kids up until about 18. And then 18 to 24, I kind of went through this phase of thinking I was just going to be a bachelor forever. I'm never going to get married, never going to have kids. And now at 26, definitely don't want to get married, don't want to get the state involved, and all of that. So I want to keep the state out of it and kind of go my own way on that accord. But I am a little bit up in the air on the kids. Now, I'm leaning towards no. Like, I've gone both ways. Like I said, I started out kind of being conditioned by society, being a kid, and seeing everybody else around you, like the older adults, having kids. And so you just grow up thinking that's going to be you one day. Like, that's how you imagine it. You watch a Disney movie or whatever, and that's just kind of how you see it in Hollywood and the media. And then when I got to be 18, after high school, college for a little bit, up until like 24 or so, I was kind of on the opposite end of that spectrum, thinking that never wanted any, and that was going to be final. But then now at 26, I'm kind of on the fence. I'm still leaning more towards no, but it depends on if things line up in a certain way. Like if the finances are there, the timing, the circumstance. With my red pill awareness on things, it's definitely something I don't think that is just like a rite of passage, like a man just has to do. I'd be perfectly fine going through life with no kids. But back to the topic of having a vasectomy as a young man, I've thought about that, and I've thought about the idea of it, and if you can get to that place where you know for sure that you definitely don't want any, it's not a bad idea to just save yourself from anything on the other end that could happen. So even if you do decide to not get one, but you go through life and you're still going MGTOW or red pill, but you haven't had a vasectomy, you might have a situation later where you're with a girl in whatever context, and maybe from going MGTOW or red pill, you've built yourself up to a point where you're in your 30s now. Maybe you own a company, or you got your own business, or your own goals have taken off because you worked in your 20s and you had that red pill awareness. But now you're a man in your 30s, and you're getting involved with this woman in her 30s, and you didn't have a vasectomy, and you think you used a condom, but the condom, even though it's mostly 100%, it's not, I mean, obviously it's not mostly 100%, it isn't 100%, but I mean, even though it's pretty sure that it's safe, you never know. There is that off chance, or you put it in the trash and you think that it's there, but if you're a really well-off person, you leave the room and you don't know what she's doing. So that happens too. And or you don't use one, and she tells you she's on birth control when she's not, forgets to take it. Oh, whoops, sorry. So this is one thing that could save a lot of men down the line, now that we have the technology to do that, and the medical advancements are in the right place where it's accessible and it's a real option. And in this year, in this time, this phase of human evolution, and just where we are as a world, we've come to this point now where we know it's not just about populating the world. Not everybody needs to procreate and pass genes on to the next generation. Not everybody needs to do that with their life. People can focus on a job, or a cause, something they believe in, an art, a craft, a business, or just focus on themselves. Maybe they want a life that's as low stress as possible and as little responsibilities as possible. So they just don't want to go the whole commitment route with having kids or a marriage, and they just want to go their own way. And I think it's a very good option if that's something that you want to do, and you get yourself to that place of 100%. Because why not? I mean, nobody says that you have to have a kid, and it would save down the road. Even if you do have relations with women after the vasectomy, for sure you're not having a kid. You know that you're gonna be of your own like frame within that, and you're not gonna be duped or blindsided by another person. And so you kind of put the power in your own hands if you do get to that point of knowing for sure that you don't want kids in the future. Like I said, I'm on the fence myself. I'm kind of leaning towards no. So when I was kind of definite 100% no from like 18 to 24, and I've kind of swung back a little bit, just now that I'm older, I'm in a place of, if it does come up where the woman and the circumstance and the money all lines up, and I'm living residually, and the time comes where I feel that that is something that I want to do. So I haven't, the pendulum kind of swung back a little bit, but um, I have a feeling it's going to be more towards no, though, when it's all said and done. It would take a really specific circumstance for me to want that. I haven't completely ruled it out, but that's the thing. And now with red pill awareness and understanding MGTOW and talking to older men who've been through marriage and divorce and just things that go on in realities that aren't discussed a lot of times, I just think it'd be a really cool option to just like focus on myself and my own goals and where I want to go, what I want to do, and just kind of live chill. Like I don't want a bunch of extra stress. I don't want a bunch of extra stuff that's just not needed. Who's to say someone can't dedicate their life to a cause or a charity or something they believe in or a movement or themselves, their own business, their own arts or crafts, a skill that they just want to get really good at in this life and just get really good at it? Who's to say they want the responsibility of like a woman and kids? So it depends on what you're really looking for. Like not everybody needs to do that. It's not like people's duty to just like have a kid, and that's the thing too. If you're gonna have a kid, you're gonna bring a kid into this world. You want like the family structure to be there and to be secure, and you want like time with your kids. You don't want to send them to like a bunch of summer camps and daycares because like you're always working and then like you never see them. You come home tired from work and both parents on the wheel, like you're fighting now because there's stress financially and just emotionally, and then like the kid takes on the argument, and like you don't want any of that if that's what you're gonna do. But in the economy and the way things work and working yourself up to a point to get there and actually provide for a family, and knowing human nature and female hypergamy, it's not always feasible or healthy even to go that route. So I've thought about it, like being 26 now, a lot of people think, oh, that's way too young to have a vasectomy, or like no doctor's going to sign off on that. But I've heard of doctors that have signed off on that. I mean, 26 is old enough to make decisions like that. It's your body. It's what you're going to do. But that's even though you can do like the reverse. I haven't looked too much into it, but even though you can do the reverse, it's still something that you kind of want to be in 100% sure place of that if you're going to go through with it. So definitely don't do it on a whim. Like anything, don't do it on a whim. Like contemplate it, really think about it. But just thinking of this concept of getting one, if I get to that place of 100%, like I definitely don't want kids, I think that'd be a great option. Like I just want to like work on my own goals, my own businesses, my own pursuits, not have a bunch of extra drama and responsibilities and stress. And a lot of people think that that's like taking the easy way out, or they think it's a selfish approach, which is super ironic when having a kid, like part of that is you wanting to pass on your own genes. So like that's a self-serving, selfish, if you will, part of that. It's a selfish aspect. To know, like, to look at yourself and say, like, oh, I can't really provide well, whether it's for the woman or the kids or both, to know that about yourself and to be upfront about it. And like, hey, I'm not going to, like, bring other people into my lack of being able to provide something good. So I'm going to not have a kid. I'm going to not get married. I'm going to not lead a woman and children down that path, knowing that I'm not built for that, or I don't want to do that. And you should want to do that. You should want to be invested. So it's not selfish to like make the decision. I mean, that's the thing too. When people like on both sides, when they say like, oh, like people who just want kids are selfish because they just want like another version of them, and that's the whole reason people have kids. And then on the other side, people say people who don't have kids, that's selfish because you just want to have like a fun life with no responsibilities. But like anything's selfish. Any person, you could look at anyone's perspective and just say that about anything they do. It's not about that. It's just about like understanding all angles involved, what you're really getting yourself into, especially in the age of information and where we are. Why not research things? Why not research other perspectives and multiple angles? Why not be a young person that has studied human history and then also spoken with older people to guide your own life where you want it to go? Like I mentioned in previous videos too, like if I can get an online business going with YouTube and other things I want to do and pursuits, artistic pursuits, entrepreneurial pursuits, just things that I want to do and the impact I want to make, why not just live residually, get a vasectomy, have no marriage, no kids, and just have fun? Like, I want to live minimalist. I just want to go camping and like get a camper van and motorhome, just travel around. And even with red pill and MGTOW philosophy, it doesn't mean you have to completely have women out of your life forever or anything. But like, I could just have fun and keep it casual and not get super involved and be a little bit more detached and just kind of like look at things from like the perspective of it being 2020. So like, so if someone presents information like this and some people aren't ready to hear it or they get freaked out, but it's just like, why not live that lifestyle? What's going on, guys?
Hey, what's up, guys? How you doing?
Good. How are you guys?